Hi everyone, hope you are feeling positive and healthy. Please subscribe with all bell notifications if you haven't already, and please don't hesitate to leave your valuable feedback and advice below. Story and playlist links in the description. Thank you very much. Let's jump into the stories. Aita for telling my parents they shouldn't have another baby. Hi, I'm 15F and I was an only child until recently. My mom got pregnant with a girl after she had a few miscarriages a while back. Because of the miscarriages, she was really depressed, so I tried to help her out more and be an easier child to handle so she wouldn't feel the loss of her other children. She's now 6 months preggo and very happy and excited because this was the longest pregnancy she has had, other than me of course. The thing is, recently my parents started making a lot of changes for the baby. I didn't mind of course, as I'm really excited for my sister too. But when I got home from school, they had painted over my walls and moved my stuff into another bedroom that was smaller and replaced it with so much baby stuff. I cried when I saw this because it felt like they were replacing me for this child they really wanted. When I asked why the baby needed a bigger bedroom, they just said that she would have more stuff and needs more room for all her baby things. My new room is really cramped because it has my bed and my desk and my drawer, and I can't move without bumping into something, and they haven't even checked on me or my room or even asked if they could swap rooms. The worst thing was that my parents told me they were going to stop sending me to lacrosse after school because after the baby's born I would need to help out every day. I really love lacrosse and I don't want to quit. After that I got really mad and told them that I don't want to and that they shouldn't be having another baby if they can treat their first one right. My mom started crying and my dad was so angry at me that he called my aunt and kicked me out, so I had to stay with her for the night before I could go home. My aunt told me I shouldn't have said that because they really wanted the baby and that I was acting immature. But I really feel like they're making me sacrifice my life for her. When I got home I went to apologize for saying they shouldn't have another baby. But all I got told was that I was really selfish and I'm acting like a baby, and they wouldn't talk to me after that. I don't want them to replace me, but they're acting like I don't exist anymore. Everyone else seems to think I'm the A-land. But I think that I don't deserve to get treated like the second option. Ida, also, I think I might be an a-hole because I told them they shouldn't have a baby after they had miscarriages after so long. Also, hi. I had sent my aunt this post and she texted me that she wanted to say that the reason why she sided with my parents was because we both knew they had been trying for a baby for so long and that the miscarriages were really hard on everyone, so my aunt wanted me to be more calm. And because if my mom gets stressed her BP would rise and that could harm the baby, so my aunt didn't want me to risk that. She also said that she didn't support their decision on lacrosse and that they should have asked me before they swapped my room. She said she would help me find a job and would help out with the lacrosse fees if they really made me quit too. And luckily she says she is going to come over and help me explain my side and apologize more calmly and maturely so my parents will understand why I feel this way. And I think people think I don't want my sister. I really do, and I can't wait to be her big sister. Update. Hi everyone. I wanted to update everyone as a lot of people seem to care about me, haha. So today my aunt picked me up from practice and she came over to talk with my parents, and I had also prepared a letter like everyone suggested just in case. Firstly, I don't think I'll be getting my room back because my mom said that they wanted my room because it has a built-in cupboard in the wall and that it would be easier and cleaner to store my sister's things in there. And they're also buying a big round crib so that will take up a lot of space since you have to place it in the middle. I guess I was a bit jealous and a little attached because it had been my bedroom since I was a baby. Embarrassed smiley face. And I asked why they didn't tell me. They said it's because that we're on the same team and that everyone got through the pregnancies and miscarriages because I was a good kid and I was always willing to help mom and dad out. So they thought that I would be okay with it this time too, especially since mom's is so far along. And as for lacrosse, I asked if they don't have enough money to pay for it. But they said they don't want me to continue because my mom works late during TH week and my dad need my help after school. I'm only playing for 3 days after school on the week, so I can still help on the days I come straight from school. My aunt said she would help out with the fees if I get a job, and they agreed to that only if I promised to not work or play lacrosse too much that I can help them, which I did. And I did apologize a lot for my words because they told me that I thought that they deserved all the miscarriages because they never treated me right, which was very wrong and insensitive. I guess I overreacted a bit and I was still resentful when I wrote this post because I wanted people on my side, but I realize I shouldn't have because I think I just misunderstood them. And I even told them that I wrote this because I think they would flip out that the internet knows about our family lol. And my aunt told me she won't tell my parents I'm on Reddit too. TBH, I think I'm a bit scared now of the future because I've read a lot of you guys have been in similar situations and have had to leave home because of parentification, which kinda terrifies me as I won't be able to leave easily when I turn 18, as people in Australia don't really leave home for uni. So I'm going to save up for the future too. Anyway, thanks everyone for the advice and the understanding comments. Have a good day everyone. Heart. Not the unreasonable one. Your parents signed up to have another kid, and if they want to make sacrifices to take care of her, that's fine. But it's ridiculous to expect you to give up your hobbies to be responsible for your sister. Also, even if they do need the bigger room for the baby, that doesn't sound right to me. But I don't know anything about kids. They shouldn't have moved you out of your room without any warning. I was ready to judge you from reading the title, but on reading the post, you are not the unreasonable one. Moving your bedroom while you were at school, without even telling you, was an unreasonable person move. But then forcing you to give up a sport you love because they need you available every day after school to care for the baby. You're not the parent. They are. Yes, you need to help out to a reasonable extent, but that does not in any way mean you should have to give up a normal life and extracurriculars to be on childcare duty literally every day. That is seriously messed up, and I don't blame you for reacting the way you did. Am I the unreasonable one for causing a scene at my grandfather's 90th birthday because I didn't want to help my family in need? I grew up with a crap family. My parents always favored my siblings over me because growing up, I had a myriad of health issues and was small, scrawny, and weird looking. We were well off at the time, but my parents hated that I wasn't normal and athletic like my siblings. My brother was the beloved child next to my sister. Both my siblings got their tuition paid off by them and got expensive grad gifts. Think, cars, laptops, gaming systems, and since I was the youngest, I was told that my college money was spent all on them. My uncle paid for me to attend college and I was lucky enough to go to a top college. My sister and I used to be somewhat close until she helped my then boyfriend cheat on me. This was 4 years ago. I cut her and my family. They still supported her, off right then and there. My brother has made a few costly business errors and is in great debt. Since he used my parents' money, so are they. My sister never had a real career after chasing boyfriend after boyfriend and is struggling on deciding what to do. I'm currently in the tech industry and doing well for myself. I recently bought a 4-bedroom house for $1.7 with 20% down payment and I'm proud of myself. My fiancé is a corporate lawyer and comes from a wealthy family. Needless to say, we have a lot of expendable income. My grandfather recently turned 90 and we had a bash for him with the family. My uncle encouraged me to come for my grandpa. I brought along my fiancé to introduce him to the family. My brother tried to get my fiancé to invest in another project of his and he politely refused. I guess my brother got angry because then he started making jabs at me and my fiancé and told us that we were a classic trophy couple, whatever that means, and said that we were selfish to not help family. My parents came out to say that I am going to rot in hell and that I hadn't reached out for a moment to help them with their troubles after they took care of me for all those years. I told them that I'm not obligated to help them after they hurt me for all my life, and if they want to talk finances, then I've already helped them by not sending them my therapy bills. I left in a huff after kissing my grandfather goodbye. My uncle later reached out and said he condemned my parents and that told them off, but he was disappointed at me causing a scene at the party. According to him, they just made rude comments at me. But I went full psycho and screamed and caused a scene. I agree that I did yell and start crying, but it was something I couldn't control and my grandfather told me he understood when I left. Am I the unreasonable one? Not the unreasonable one. Sounds like you're better off without all that negativity in your life. First off, I'm sorry your family treated you differently from your siblings. It really sucks when parents play favorites. The thing about family is that no one knows how to push your buttons better. Sure, it would have been better if you had kept your cool and just let their words roll off your back. But when you're in a situation that's so emotionally charged, it's so hard to maintain your composure. I'm speaking from experience. I'm going to say not the unreasonable one, mainly because of the history there. But please reach out to your uncle and apologize. Let him know that you're working on getting over your resentment, if that's what you want to call it. He seems like an amazing person and you owe that to him. Look at him as your father figure because it certainly seems like he's more deserving of that title. I know it can be incredibly hard to move past the pain your immediate family has caused you, but try to ignore their jabs in the future, if for no other reason than to please your uncle. No matter what you say to them, they won't change unless they want to. Look at how amazing you're doing if you didn't have your uncle. And if your parents coddled you like your siblings, who knows if you would have ended up so successful in your own right. Am I the unreasonable one for leaving because my sister-in-law's romantic surprise made me uncomfortable? My sister-in-law was married for 15 years to a very wealthy high-powered man. I found them both a bit insufferable. But my husband and his sister are very close. Sister-in-law's husband ended up going to jail. I don't know a ton about it, but he was embezzling and committing various white-collar crimes, but everyone involved thinks he took the fall for something a lot worse and was protected by some very powerful people. He served some time, nothing close to what he deserved in my opinion, but financially he pretty much got away with it. Sister-in-law and her husband divorced right before all of this happened, and at the time I was shocked, because it seemed to come from out of nowhere. I later found out that he had been tipped off, and by divorcing her he was able to hide the money. Sister-in-law is adamant that they had just grown apart, but she visited him in jail all the time. I know that his high-up friends orchestrated this to protect him financially, but no one will ever prove it. He was set to get out soon, but he got out early for good behavior, so my husband and Mill decided to surprise sister-in-law and have him show up at her birthday dinner. Well, her reaction confirmed everything about them not growing apart. She burst into tears, jumped on him, would not let go of him for the rest of the night. So yeah, I have no doubt that their divorce was fraudulent and they are both criminals. I ended up leaving dinner because I was disgusted. They are still rich. Sister-in-law still lives in the beautiful home they bought together, and I'm sure he is going to come out of this fine. Everyone was fawning over how beautiful and romantic it was, but I have a 13-year-old daughter and I don't want her to think that this is some great love story. I left abruptly, and when Mill asked why we were going, I said it made me uncomfortable. My husband says I was out of line. Not the unreasonable one. I wish white-collar criminals were viewed in line with their impacts. If one person steals from an employer, they get charged and lose their job. If an employer steals from 1,000 staff, they get a yearly bonus. It sounds like your in-laws are supporting and encouraging this behavior. Not the unreasonable one. It seems you're the only one that doesn't condone fraud or stealing in your home. At least someone is setting an honest example for your kids. Am I the unreasonable one for giving advice that resulted in my friend divorcing his wife? Throwaway, because my main account is known to people in the post. Last in October, a guy showed up at my friend's house claiming he was the father of friend's 8-year-old and that he got friend's wife pregnant in an affair, but ran off and broke contact. Hell broke loose on the guy first, but seeing how the wife was acting suspicious, he confronted her where she admitted to the cheating, but claimed the child was my friend's. Friend got a paternity test done and found out he is not the father. He was hurt and depressed. He left his house and stayed at a room away to think about the situation. His wife reached out to all our common friends and they all asked him to forgive the wife and move on. Friend was feeling complicated. His thoughts kept revolving around the 8-year-old. The divorce law in my area says that infidelity is grounds for divorce, but it is the father's responsibility to make sure his kids are secure financially. But if the father can prove that the wife committed paternity fraud, he gets out easy. Any lawyer could take this case and win. Due to his conflicting feelings, he had a massive breakdown. The wife and child also showed up to his place and caused a scene, asking for forgiveness and for daddy to come back. I usually stayed and listened to what he was feeling and saying, not giving any of my input till after the last time wife and child showed up. He said he wanted to know what to do. I tried to avoid adding my answer in any way and said there are no right answers and that he should do what makes him happy and mentally healthy. He kept on pressing me for a more direct answer, and well, seeing how desperate he was for an answer, I told him that I would leave my wife in such a case without regret. She can manage her child on her own. I would do that because I know how cold I can get. Friend is my polar opposite. He literally does not hurt a fly. But this was just a hypothetical scenario, and that the one experiencing this case in real life should look for his answer, not my hypothetical response. This happened in April this year. Mid-July, my friend finally divorced his wife and she moved out. He made a Facebook post thanking me for giving him advice that made him resolve to leave fake happiness for his own selfish happiness. The ex-wife called me a monster for destroying their happiness. Most of our friends and my wife are livid because they said I broke up their marriage. Wife is angry because my advice caused him to abandon his, not his, child, that the child has lost the person they knew as their father. I am pretty sure I was clear about what I said and that it was not advice, but if he followed that part, then I am not blaming him for what he did. Friends and wife still think I am the because there could have been better ways to handle the situation. So am I the unreasonable one? Not the unreasonable one, and I feel a little like I'm taking crazy pills because you are considering taking even 1% of the blame for this. The ex-wife destroyed her own marriage by cheating and having someone else's baby. End of story. Lol mate. Based on your wife's reaction, if you have kids I reckon you should get a paternity test. Seriously, is there some kind of conspiracy in your neighborhood where all the wives are having affairs and having kids with men other than their husband? because I can think of no other reason why everything would tell your mate that staying with a woman who committed adultery, lied about it for presumably 9 years or more, and allowed him to raise a kid he didn't know wasn't his, is a good idea. F those guys. Not the unreasonable one. Also, after reading through a lot of responses, I've come to accept that a lot of people appear to believe the age-old two parents who hate each other is better than one, which is absolutely ridiculous. My first boyfriend had parents who stayed together for him. He was so emotionally screwed up it was a nightmare. He honestly didn't realize until his father remarried what a loving relationship should look like. That's so sad. To this day I am thankful that my mother walked away when she realized the relationship with my father wasn't working. /end rant. Am I the unreasonable one for gossiping about my husband's family wedding? My husband's grandfather got married recently for his 5th time and we all knew it was going to be a crap show. Mill is 45 and her new stepmom is 26. Combined with the fact everything father-in-law does is a crap show. It was a very small wedding, so everyone heard everything. Mill threw a temper tantrum because she was hungry. I mean really I think she is angry about the revolving door of stepmothers she's had and that her dad is still doing the same crap. But she was screaming at her dad because the food didn't come and she called the bride a whore. The bride yelled at Mill and then father-in-law told his new wife to shut up and was treating Mill like a toddler. Like, I'm sorry princess, I'll get you something to eat. Father-in-law said we should just cut the cake because this can't get any tackier, so Mill took a handful of cake and threw it on the ground. The bride freaked out and father-in-law yelled at her for yelling at his daughter. Mill was screaming not to try to come between her and her dad because she's outlasted all of his other wives, and then the bride said go get Botox, bitch. Mill knocked the whole freaking cake over and stormed off. When dear husband and I went to check on them, father-in-law was telling her she should give him a blown job to help her calm down. Finally Mill went back and father-in-law said not to worry because she's always going to be his little princess. Mill lasted 20 more minutes before she left to get dinner and father-in-law was drunk and now trying to talk her into giving him sex in front of everyone. The bride burst into tears and we left soon after. I thought this was hilarious, so I was telling my mom over the phone. But dear husband got mad and said I'm insensitive and I treat his family like a joke. Honestly, I do think daddy's 45-year-old princess is a joke, but I feel like I was just telling a funny story. Nah, neither you nor your husband. Not gossiping about this train wreck would be a superhuman feat. However, I feel bad for your husband. He must be mortified by his family. You didn't mean it to hurt him, but clearly it did, so I think he needs an apology. It probably would have been more sensitive to do this discreetly out of his hearing.